Welcome to the FantasyFling DFS channel. Take a break from the season-long commitment and join us for all things daily fantasy sports. DraftKings, daily drafts, the newest and hottest DFS deals, and all the best ball and DFS content you can handle. All right, let's dive headfirst into this episode.
All right, that is right. Welcome into the FantasyFling DFS channel. It's your boy Brandon, aka FantasyFling. We are looking at the conference championship slate. We got 2 games. We got 4 teams left, the final 4, and going to do a live draft on Underdog Fantasy. Going to be doing a lot of content this offseason for best ball on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss it. By the way, hit that like button if you like this kind of content, breaking down the daily drafts. I know not many people do this, so like to preview the slate, let you know some of the best plays based on matchups, based on the biggest game totals, and then do a live draft and try to target those plays. So what you'll see here, the 2 games. So the first one we have tomorrow, Sunday at 1 o'clock. We got KC going on the road to Baltimore. Should be an exciting game. Two elite quarterbacks, 2 of the league's top 5 quarterbacks going head to head in the playoffs in AFC Championship game in Baltimore. Lower scoring than the other one. Baltimore is the favorites, 4-point favorites. And then we have the game that opened at I think 49.5 and is now up to 52. So Detroit, no one expected them to be here. Great job for Detroit, Dan Campbell and company this year. And they're going on the road to play San Fran, who is 7-point favorites, over 7-point favorites, and they have a 29.75 implied team total. So regardless of who I end up with at quarterback, I'm going to be trying to target San Fran with Christian McCaffrey, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle. These are guys that I'm going to be going after because just want to point out a stat I looked at earlier. I was looking at odds because, that's really something I like to do, touchdown odds, see who is most likely to score the most points. San Francisco's best touchdown odds on the entire slate. They have 4 players with the best touchdown odds. Christian McCaffrey plus 130 to score 2 or more touchdowns. Ayuk as second best odds to score 2 or more touchdowns at plus 475. Debo and Kittle have third best odds at plus 600. So I think Lamar is right behind them, right? So I'm really going to be trying to target San Francisco. And by the way, shout out to DFS Army. This is their optimizer that I use. I do content for DFS Army as well, but I'm also a longtime VIP. And these game totals are really helps to decide who to play, of course. And then, this is the optimizer. And obviously we have cheat sheets and research station and, props. You can look up the best props for the weekend, all those things, who's projected for the high zone. But the domination station is something that I love because this is going to show, who's the top scoring tight ends, who's projected to be the highest scoring tight end, best fantasy points per dollar, and how about ownership and all those things. So by the way, you can use code FantasyFling for 10% off a VIP subscription. DFS Army, just want to show you real quick, all the different sports DFS Army covers. NFL is ending, yes, but NBA, DFS contests, NHL, PGA, MMA. We got college football, of course, esports. We got NASCAR about to start, CFL. So, yeah, NASCAR, Formula One. You name it, DFS Army has it. So use code FantasyFling for all the content, all the tools, get you 10% off a VIP subscription. So we're going to jump into the Engage 8. So it's $3K to first, and there's only 3 spots in 6 rounds. So let's see where I'll be picking. I will be picking third. Now, what I like about picking third is I'm not really going to have to guess. So let's say Christian McCaffrey goes first and Lamar Jackson goes second. We can go right to our stack. I could do Brock Purdy. I could do Amon-Ra. I could do Ayuk, which is probably where I would go. I think I would pass on Amon-Ra in that spot. And we got 24 seconds here, but I think I would do Brock Purdy. Now, just want to break down the quarterbacks real fast. I think Lamar's the best play on the slate because of his running ability and his ceiling, but it is a lower scoring game. KC does have an elite secondary. So if Lamar gets there, I'm totally fine with not stacking Lamar because I think there's a really good chance that if he gets there, he's unstacked in this contest, given the matchup. I think he could do a lot of it on his legs. My second favorite quarterback is Brock Purdy. Like I said, the odds are just too good. The projections are too good. Both from a fantasy projection and just game total. And I think Detroit has a really poor secondary. They give 34 yards above average. So, wow. Lamar actually came back to me. And I think that's too good to pass up. And I'm just going to take Lamar there. And I'm going to run him unstacked. And Amon-Ra went, so I think I'm going to take Lamar and I'm going to take Ayuk, and I'm still able to get potentially a stack in San Francisco. I'm guessing Debo or Kittle will be there when I come back, so I can still get 2 San Francisco players, and have Lamar Jackson, who could potentially be the highest scoring quarterback on the slate. So that was a little surprising that Amon-Ra went second. I was seeing Lamar in the early drafts I did. But yeah, to get Ayuk and Lamar there, I love that. I actually think Ayuk has a really good chance to outperform Lamar this week. Detroit runs a lot of man, and Ayuk just torches teams when they're in man. He's got like a 90.9 PFF score. So I love Ayuk in this spot, and I really like how this draft started. So we just saw it go Mahomes, Purdy, Ray Rice, and not Ray Rice. Gosh, what year is it? Rashee Rice. So let's see who's next. I don't think it's going to be Pacheco, but I'm definitely probably going to take a running back here. Oh man, this is tough. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Pacheco in this spot. And I get Debo. So really loving the way this draft started. Like I said, I'm perfectly fine running Lamar naked, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in this spot. I'm not forcing stacks. I got Lamar, I got Isaiah Pacheco, I got Ayuk and Debo. Second guessing that Debo pick a little bit, just because normally it's one or two of the other that goes off. But they have both had 20-point plus performances in the same week. So who knows? We're 2 picks away. After Debo went, we got Montgomery and Gibbs. I'm guessing Kelsey's going to go here. I'll be shocked if he's still on the board. I'm trying to get probably Kelsey or Laporta. Okay. So Andrews went, so I'm going to be able to get one of these guys, which is fantastic. And honestly, if for some reason someone goes off the board here and doesn't pick either of these guys, I will take both of them back to back. Yeah. So, wow. I'm actually stunned by that. And what a draft. What a way to finish this draft up. So couldn't have gone any better for me, really. I got Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Pacheco, Ayuk, Debo, Kelsey, and Laporta. Love this draft. And that's going to do it for me in this draft. But I'm going to kind of go over like I said, I love Purdy, but I like Lamar's upside a little bit more. So that's who I went with there. And Christian McCaffrey is the top play on the slate. He's projected for like 26 points. He's averaged that on the season. He's getting about 23 opportunities in his last 4 games. So the usage is just crazy for Christian McCaffrey. Isaiah Pacheco is a guy that, like I said, I took him because he's the only other guy on the slate that isn't in a timeshare. He's averaged over 20 opportunities in his last 4 games. He's produced in those games. He's got a little bit of a toe injury, but I'm not worried about it. He's averaging 19 fantasy points per game. I expect him to play. It's a pretty decent matchup on the slate. Baltimore, they're pretty average. They give up about 8 yards less to the run. So 8 yards below mean expectation to the run. So, it's a pretty good spot. And then from there, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Gus Edwards. I like Jahmyr Gibbs the most because he gets receiving game work. So he's getting about 4 receptions and 40 yards each game. So in addition to his running, upside, he's also getting work out of the backfield. So I like him the most. Justin Hill saw an uptick in targets this past week. I might even like him a little bit more than Montgomery because he gets a little bit of passing game work as well. Wide receivers, I think IU can actually outscore Amon-Ra this week, but Amon-Ra would be the top, option on the slate, probably too, because of where they're going. If you're in the right spot, you could potentially get them both in your draft. So Amon-Ra, he's led all wide receivers that are currently still playing. He leads them all in targets, yards, and fantasy points per game. I think in full PPR formats, he's getting about 22.5. And, the high game total and elite run defense of San Fran, I just expect Detroit to throw a lot over probably 40 attempts. So Debo, he is questionable, but he's expected to play, and I am all about it. Like I said, Debo is the third best. Him and Kittle have the same odds to both score more than 2 touchdowns, third best on the slate. So I think Debo, he's a high variance player, but he has that type of upside that can win you the GPP. Ayuk, like I said, love him going against man covers. Detroit's just been getting diced this year with man covers. So love Ayuk. Rashee Rice would be a guy that I would target specifically if I'm playing Mahomes. He had a down week last week. Tough matchup, but he's still been consistent, over 1,100 yards. I expect, them to go right back to him and him to have a decent game. As far as, wide receivers for Baltimore, the only guys that I'm really looking to target in this spot would be Andrews because of the upside, and Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is pretty explosive. You can get him a little bit later. Not a high ceiling, but a decent floor. And, and we haven't really seen what his ceiling could be yet. It's only 1 year. So I won't get carried away with, declaring what his ceiling is. A couple of value guys that I think you could get late that you can hit on. Josh Reynolds, he's been getting consistent targets and a pretty decent floor. So if somehow Amon-Ra doesn't have a good game because they have a plan to stop Amon-Ra, I think Josh Reynolds could be the beneficiary of that, see more targets. Jameson Williams is a great deep threat. So he's probably going to get you 0 or 1, or he's going to catch a touchdown and get you like 15 points. So he's a guy that I'm willing to take a chance on if you went heavy on, running back or tight end, and you got one wide receiver, but you had to grab another one, and he was the best available for upside. I think you could do a lot worse than that. Tight end, it's Kelsey, it's Laporta, it's Kittle. Those are the 3 guys that I'm trying to target. I think Kittle's in a fantastic spot. He really has a high projection, second best, 2+ touchdown odds. So if he scores 2+ touchdowns and you have him in your lineup, you have a great chance to win the tournament. And, I just think Detroit really can be thrown on and they could get gashed in this spot. So I love Kittle, love Laporta. He got 11 targets last week. They're going to be throwing a lot. They're probably going to be trailing from behind. I love Laporta to have another potential game with a lot of targets, and hopefully he'll get in the end zone. He's fully off the injury report. So love Laporta. And then, of course, Kelsey. If KC has any chance of winning this game, they need to go back to Kelsey. He's a guy that does very well playing against zone. He'll peel off and, find just an open pocket for Mahomes to hit him. And Baltimore is they play a lot of zones. So I like Kelsey again this week as well. So that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to do a drafters draft. So keep that out on keep an eye out for that on the channel, as that will certainly be out, and we'll do a live draft for that. And by the way, if you guys like playing on Underdog, or if you haven't played, you want to give it a chance, go use code FantasyFootballFling. They will do 100% deposit match up to $100. Download the Underdog fantasy app and give it a try. So we will see you all over on Drafters. Take care.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming next. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next